Most entrepreneurs end up building a business that turns into a trap, and it ends up building something that turns into a big machine that they actually carry resentment towards. There's nothing more frustrating than making all these sacrifices just to end up building a business that you don't enjoy. And there's some common reasons that people do feel this way. So we're going to walk through these common reasons, but then we're also going to address it and kind of break down why you feel that way and what are some things that you can change immediately that allows you to build a business that actually provides you more freedom. One of the things that I noticed is that so many people are frustrated because they do put all this energy into this thing, right? This thing that was actually created to provide freedom. You wanted to make more income. You wanted to be able to do what you wanted, right? You wanted more freedom to travel where you wanted to travel to, right? You wanted to spend more time with the people that you love. But what ends up happening is you start to build something that you get paid for. The money starts coming in. But for some reason, you don't enjoy it anymore. You actually might have woke up this morning and said these exact words. Am I actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I actually following my purpose? But don't worry, we're going to talk about that today so that way we can make it more efficient for you to actually build a business that you actually enjoy. So let's walk through it. So why do most entrepreneurs actually feel trapped? The number one reason that we find is because people say that they have bad customers, all right? I want you to understand why this is so impactful to your business, because you not only have to worry about actually generating these people as leads, you not only have to worry about probably getting on the phone with them to actually close a deal, but then you actually got to also spend time serving these people. So think about how long you are spending with a certain person anytime you sell something to them. And I don't know about you guys, but my goal is whenever I get a customer, I want a lifetime customer. I want someone that pays me over and over again for as long as they live, right? And I want them to brag about it to other people so that way they can refer people to my business. I want them to be able to feel as though that what I am creating is so beneficial to them that the people around them also reap these benefits of this service. And so what ends up happening is you think about all this time that you're spending with this individual. If it ends up being someone that you actually don't want to work with, you're going to carry resentment towards your business. And there's nothing more frustrating than constantly being forced to serve people because you need to pay your bills. I run across so many people and they're just stuck. They're stuck because they have to keep this thing going that they aren't even enjoying. But I want to break something down to you. And this is something that I learned from my brother, Marquel Russell. It's called the 20/80 rule. What that says is basically if you identify your top 20% of customers, people that you enjoy working with, people that pay you with no questions asked, people who pay you over and over again, and you're actually helping them get a result, it's like if you can identify the top 20% of people that you work with that you are actively doing this for, what happens is if you adjust all your marketing, all of your strategies to actually be for that specific person, you'll end up only attracting that person. I want you guys just to take a second of just think, how much better would your life be if you only worked with your top customers? I want you to think about it. You're probably going to talk about more things that you care about. So your marketing is going to be more efficient because you're actually talking about things that you enjoy, that you actually know is helping people because it's for that specific person. I want you to think about what happens when this person pays you, and it's a no-brainer anytime they pay you because you realize the correct way to provide value to them over and over again. So now your confidence level is up. You actually enjoy, and this machine is actually running, and you're actually enjoying it as this machine is running it. Now, the final piece that's so important about only working with people that you actually enjoy working with is that it's also the fulfillment. I want you to think about how much easier it is to get someone a result that you want to work with versus someone who you have to literally pull their teeth anytime you need them to do anything. As simple as submitting documents so that way you can fulfill the service. And then here's the worst part. If they end up not getting the results because they didn't provide you the stuff, they still end up blaming you for it not working. Guess what? It's because you're working with the wrong people. Now, what happens when you have a marketing machine that actually can go out and find those specific people? Now, we're going to break that down a little bit more in another video. There's no way I could cover all of that in this segment. But if you can address you working with bad customers, you will actually start to really value your business a lot more and actually enjoy it a lot more. All right, reason number 2 is going to be inconsistent sales. It doesn't matter if you're making a lot of money, if you're making a little bit of money. Irregardless, you probably have no predictability right now. And I want you to think about how that actually impacts your confidence and impacts your ability to plan, right? It impacts so many areas in your life that you never really think of. And I want you to imagine what will happen if you gained the ability to know exactly where your next customer is going to come from. You know what activity is necessary to get that customer. Imagine how much easier your life is when you can say, hey, I know that my business is going to make this much money this month. And now you start to be able to plan stuff with your kids, right? You start to be able to plan vacations and you start to be more predictable, not just about how your business is going to go, but it also impacts your personal life. I don't think many entrepreneurs realize that the more success that your business has, the more freedom that you actually can attain. But most people actually, it conflicts because actually when they start making more money, they actually start to sacrifice their freedom. But I want you to think of if you have more predictability, how would that adjust your anxiety level so that way you don't feel as though you are trapped in your business? Because you don't know what trapped is. The reason that you're trapped is because you don't know what it takes to actually be untrapped. You don't know your numbers and you have no predictability. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the most beneficial things that you can install in your business is going to be paid advertising. Now, if you have paid advertising, not only do you get more predictability from a standpoint of knowing how much money is going to come in, you also get more leverage because you now are able to get this result not from actually manual activity that you're doing, but you're actually able to get this result just from spending $1 to make 4 to 5 back. That's the power of paid advertising. I want you to name any business out there who does not do paid advertising, right? Why is that? It's because of leverage. It's now I pay these platforms for the ability to put my stuff in front of the people that I want to work with. So remember that 20/80 rule that we just talked about? Well, I want you to think about how do I get in front of those people? It's not going to come from organic content. The social media platform is only going to push it so far. And if you get more specific, then yes, your organic reach is probably going to go down potentially. But I don't worry about it because I want my reach to come from me paying these platforms just to place it in front of that person. So if you are able to get more predictability in your business, you're going to start to enjoy it more because you don't have any anxiety. You're not running blind. You're able to make plans that you can actually commit to. You start to be able to have this freedom because you mastered the ability to put $1 in and make $5 back. And I want you to think, now if I can figure out how to put $1 in and make $5 back, guess what? I can figure out how to put 1,000 in and make 5,000 back. And then I can scale it. And now this machine that used to be something that will consume my time, that was just a beast, that just was something that I started to carry resentment towards, I now get the ability to press a button. And so I always suggest for you to invest in Facebook ads. I think Meta ads is one of the easiest ads to start off with, depending on your business model. But that's the second reason most people don't like their business, is because they don't have any predictability. All right, family, we're on a roll now. Now we got to talk about, it kind of covers two things, but it's going to be high pressure sales calls and manual work. Now, you happen to have high pressure sales calls with anybody that you want to work with or anybody that you have the opportunity to work with. I want you to think about how draining that is to your energy, to where you have to spend 30 minutes, an hour, multiple hours every single time you close someone on a deal. And so what I see from a lot of founders, especially when they're first starting off, is that they are the ones that have to go in and put this work. They don't have a sales team. And even if they do have a sales team, it's like these resources aren't as reliable. So what does it look like for you to actually create a selling system where, again, you're working with people that you want to work with, but then number two, you have predictability. You can actually spend $1 and make $5 back by attracting the right type of customer. But it's like, okay, when I do attract this person, how do I actually get them to pay me? Now, this is why I'm always going to suggest for people to create one-to-many selling systems. All right. Now, before we jump into that, let's talk about these high pressure sales calls for a little bit. I want you to think, if you are closing 10 customers in a week and every person requires an hour for you to talk to them, that's 10 hours required anytime you make money. But I want you to think for a second, let's think about it. You don't close every person that you talk to. So in order for you to close those 10 people, you got to take 30, 40 sales calls. And so think about how much that impacts your time or your team members' time, where it requires them to get on these heavy, high pressure sales calls anytime they close a deal. It creates a big bottleneck, right? Because even if you want to scale, it requires you to take more calls. But I want you to think of having a one-to-many selling system where you're able to essentially leverage a sales presentation or a 5-minute video or a 1-hour video, depending on your audience. You create a video that people actually decide to watch on their time. And then by them watching that video, they're already informed on your services. They already know what to expect. And you actually get the opportunity to transform them into the right customer. So that way you can transform their identity into somebody that you want to work with. Because the reality is not everyone is actually set to be our ideal customer right now. But we give them one piece of information. We create one type of mindset shift with that individual. They can immediately start being someone that wants to invest with us and actually is the ideal person that we want to work with. And so I always suggest for you to figure out, how can I create a sales presentation that can nurture this person, educate them about my services, so that way when I do get on a call, if I got to get on a call, it's just a logistics thing, right? It's just me figuring out which credit card are you using, or it's just me kind of finalizing some small details that they might need. But like, even when I get that small details, I can adjust my sales presentation and let people know about those details, because the reality is we got to get feedback from the people that we're serving. And so one of the biggest things that you can do is, if I have a one-to-many sales presentation, it allows me to create more leverage. I'm able to communicate my message. I'm able to talk about my business. I'm able to do all this stuff, and it doesn't require my time, right? That's the power of automations. So if you want to resolve this problem where you don't have to have these high pressure sales calls to get people to actually pay you, first thing is make sure you have a one-to-many sales presentation. All right, now the final reason that we're going to talk about is going to have to do with you not having clarity. All right, so what does this mean? I know this is kind of one of those dry reasons. You probably don't want to listen to this, but this is one one where I have to be honest with you about, because it impacts everything that you do in your business, because it has to do with what you do in your business. Most people actually carry resentment towards their business because they're constantly doing the wrong things. And now AI is around. All you did was speed up the hamster wheel, right? Like, think about it. All you did was, now it's like, oh, I'm going to focus on this activity that I should not be doing, but I want to use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever to do it. And then I go out and I execute that wrong activity even faster. And guess what? Everyone's hamster wheel is going faster now. They're doing more stuff, but they're not going anywhere. And the reason for that is because you're trying to use AI to fix everything. But the first thing that you have to fix is clarity. That's something that AI is not going to fix for you. So as a business owner, you have to figure out what are the high value activities that I must do as the CEO in order to actually move the needle in the business. And anything that I am doing that is not contributing to that, all that is an opportunity cost. If I am spending my time doing things that I should not be doing, I am literally impacting my ability to grow my business. I'm always doing the wrong things. And now I got AI that helps me do those wrong things even faster. Think about the impact of that, right? And so what I always suggest for people to do is always identify the activities that produce the most money for you that you actually enjoy doing. If you create a business where you can do what you love and that thing that you love actually makes you money, you created a job that you love, right? And that's the whole point of owning a business, is to actually do things that you enjoy in it. And then it's like I go from this level where I go there to actually even being able to delegate that. Now I have a business that is more of an investment that actually creates income for me. I have a business that I can pass down for generations. That is the type of momentum that you want to be able to create to have a business that you actually enjoy. Now, here's the thing, family. Some of you guys are probably stuck, confused, still trying to figure out how do you actually navigate through that. And so we broke down the reasons that you don't like your business, but now let's talk about what you can do to fix this, all right? Now, one of the biggest things that you can do is going to be to have a one-to-many sales presentation, because if you identify the people that you want to work with, your life becomes easier because you're working with people that you enjoy, right? People that are actually willing to pay you. The other thing is, if I have predictability, I have a system where I can invest $1 and get $5 back. So now I got a business that actually makes money. The third thing is, now I'm able to get people to pay me without me requiring all of my time. So even though I am attracting that person that I want to work with, I now got to get this person to actually pay me. And so that's what a one-to-many sales presentation is going to do. And then the final thing that you want to make sure you have is the systems that actually nurture these individuals and basically get them to pay you. You know your numbers. And so what we want to do is we want to install a system into your business where you can leverage a one-to-many sales presentation that actually allows this to happen. And so if you look in the description, you're actually going to see an opportunity for us to actually build this system for you. All right. So if you click the link, you're going to be able to actually apply and see if this is a good fit for you. And if it's not, we still have other opportunities to be able to help you that are even more efficient than what you are currently doing right now. Because what you're doing right now is you're building a business that you don't enjoy. All right. Now, if you found any value from this, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with someone else. We're going to be dropping these videos consistently because we got to make sure we pour value into the people, family. All right. So my name is Adrian McGee. I appreciate you for watching. I'll see you on the other side.